That's where my story starts, is thinking that we were done at 3 for 11 years. I just had a surprise. I was 43 and this was not something we had planned. I felt ashamed and embarrassed. It just stops you in your tracks. A baby changes everything. If I could go back, I would tell myself I am deserving of this baby and I am worthy to be celebrated. Now I can't imagine my life any differently.
Jeani, welcome to the show.
Hi, nice to be here.
Today we are sharing Jeani's story at 43. But before we get started, Jeani, will you tell us a little bit about yourself?
Yes, my name is Jeani. I'm a stay-at-home mom. I have 4 children. My oldest is 18, graduated last year. And then I have a 15-year-old, a 12-year-old, and then our baby, 9 months now.
Awesome. And tell us, did you always want to have 4 kids?
I always wanted to be a mom since I was little. That was always on my mind. I wanted to be a mom. And I always knew I wanted to have that as my job. I wanted to be able to be there for my kids for everything, just like my mom always was. I wanted to find a route in life where I could be there. We never really had a number of kids, but we had our daughters and then we had our son. And then I think we just knew we were done. We were ready to raise them and then just move on. We had different plans for when we're older and when we retire and things like that. So I think we were great and okay with being done at 3. I guess that's where my story starts, is thinking that we were done at 3 for 11 years.
Yeah, tell us, how did you find out?
In 2021, I was having symptoms of perimenopause, hot flashes, night sweats, mood, things like that. My sisters are older than me and they were like, oh, you need to go in. We all go to the same lady. And they both went through menopause early. My mom also went through menopause early. So I went in 2021 and my FSH was elevated. She put me on a little estrogen. So I just thought that I was venturing into perimenopause. I did have an IUD at the time and I had just gotten a new IUD. So I wasn't going to remove it or anything. We just kept it in. That winter, before I found out I was pregnant, I started having some just bleeding, and I hadn't had that at all with my IUD. I ignored it for some time. And then probably like June, I went into the doctor and we did an ultrasound and my IUD had become dislodged. So it wasn't in the correct position anymore. So she said, you come back in July and we'll remove it. And then she's our family doctor. She knows my whole family history. And I'm pretty sure you're probably fine to you might be done, might not need your IUD anymore. So let's remove it and we'll wait a month and check your levels again. And then we'll see where you're at. That's what we did. And yeah, so that's it. Within that month, we just had a surprise.
Oh, that's hilarious.
So I went in and got my levels checked. And at that time, I didn't know I was pregnant yet. That was August 22nd. I had those labs checked. And she was like, oh, you need to be careful and we need to figure out what you want to do. And so I was honestly thinking about going in and getting my tubes tied. I was also in this phase of my life where I wanted to get healthier and remove the foreign things out of my body. I was all about getting rid of the IUD, trying to just be a little bit more natural, that kind of thing. So I was like, okay, maybe we'll look into that. Didn't really want to get on birth control, that kind of thing. I was coaching cross country at my local high school. And so we were doing cross country practices in the mornings, early 6:30 a.m. I just had some symptoms where I just wasn't feeling very good in the mornings. And I just thought that's weird. And honestly, pregnancy was the furthest thing from my mind because with my other children, we didn't get pregnant right away. It took us months and months to get to conceive with them. So I was like, no way did I conceive after 1 month of no IUD. There's no way that happened. So I wasn't even really thinking that. The main symptom, though, that made me think pregnancy was the breast tenderness and the pain in the breasts. And I've never been one to get very sick with my pregnancies. I always just felt a little nauseous until I ate. And then once I ate, I was fine. I had a little bit of that in the early mornings for when I was getting up for practices. I was very active, teaching workout classes and doing things. And I just didn't feel very good during
Uh-huh.
those workout classes and stuff. I just didn't feel good. I remember the day was September 11th because you can't forget that date.
Did you tell anybody you thought you might be pregnant?
My husband,
Okay.
we joked about it, to be honest. We were like, yeah, ha, like that would never happen. Oh my gosh, what would we do? So September 11th, I was at Walmart in a nearby town, and I just thought, I'm just gonna get a test and just to ease my mind, get that out of my mind. And I brought it home and took it just in the afternoon, and it was like positive. And I cannot describe the feeling that I felt. I literally, weak in the knees, started crying, couldn't believe it. I was 43 and my daughter was graduating. This was not something that we had planned for.
Uh,
I immediately called my husband and I was very upset, crying. And I said, we have a problem. That was my words to him. And he goes, what? What's going on? And I said, I'm pregnant. And his response to me, I will never forget, was he was silent for a second. And then he goes, well, that's okay. We like our kids. He was very good about it, helped ease my mind and just, we'll be okay. It's fine. We're going to be fine. We're older now. We're more financially stable than we were. He really tried to ease my mind up at that moment.
uh,
That's how I found out. And then I immediately called my doctor and she said to come in and she wanted to draw labs right away, of course, for HCG and that kind of thing. So just wanted to be proactive in making sure everything was okay, that type of
yeah.
thing, seeing how far along I was exactly.
When did you accept this pregnancy? How long did that take?
I'm going to try not to cry, but it was several weeks. I struggled for a long time. I feel bad now because I have this precious little boy now, but it was very hard for me.
Yeah.
There was some shame and embarrassment associated with it for me. I'm not sure where that came from, but I felt very ashamed and embarrassed. Almost a week after I found out I was pregnant, my nephew and his wife told us they were expecting. And so I just thought, oh, this is what they should be doing right now at their time in their life. And now I don't want my pregnancy to overshadow theirs or come in at the same time or take away from theirs because I just felt like I've done this in my with my other kids and I don't know if I just didn't feel I deserved it or there was just that level of embarrassment or shame for me and I don't know why, but I that took a long time for me to come out of that.
Yeah.
I had to get to a place where there was also another thing that happened in our community at the about the same time, a few weeks later, a tragedy in our community. And I whipped myself into shape that way. I don't have a problem. I'm bringing a new life into this world and it's not a problem. We're going to be fine. It's going to be okay. This isn't what I had planned, but we're going to be okay. It took a lot of self talk and a lot of prayers and confiding in my sisters to help me get into
Yeah.
a better mind space.
Yeah.
But it was hard and there's still days where I struggle.
Yeah. It's hard to wrap your brain around the plan changing and
Yes.
deviating that. And it takes a
Yeah.
while sometimes.
Yeah. And you think you're on such a path to my life. And I was going and doing what I wanted, going to my workout classes anytime. I was doing my laundry whenever I needed, cleaning when I needed. I felt like I had my life in order, getting to all the things and doing all the things. Then This just stops you in your tracks. Oh, a baby changes everything. So it just, it took a while, but
That's okay.
anyways, yeah.
Tell us, what was your pregnancy like?
Actually, it was pretty good at the beginning. We did have a little bit of nervousness. The first ultrasound that I had, the heart rate was very low. They could see the heart rate and everything, but it was just very slow. I think it was like in the like 118 or something. They said to come back in 2 weeks to make sure that there was fetal viability. And so when you hear that, you get that's just a gut wrenching way to put it, fetal viability. So for 2 weeks, we had the question of, is everything going to be okay or is it not? And feeling the guilt that if it's not, am I going to feel like I wish this away? I had a terrible amount of that guilt on my heart. But then after 2 weeks, we went in and everything was fine. Heart rate was like 160s and baby was just fine. So thankfully, everything was good. We had that little scare at the very beginning, but it was just after that, pretty smooth sailing. Like I said, I don't get sick as long as I keep eating. I have very easy pregnancies. I struggled a lot with the tired. I definitely felt a whole new level of exhaustion. Being over 40, I felt was very different than from my earlier pregnancies when I was younger. I slept a lot and I took a lot of naps during the day when my kids are at school. And there's guilt associated with that too. I should be doing something. I should be, but there was a lot of sleeping involved and just very tired, that kind of thing. I gained a lot of weight. I tried to keep active and stay working out. I always gained a lot with all of my pregnancies, so it wasn't too different.
What was your doctor's reaction? Was she worried about age or anything?
She was a little bit. She sent me to a different doctor in Sioux Falls, a bigger town near us. We had to go about an hour and a half, and she just suggested that I deliver there instead of one of the smaller towns near me. So we did have to go doctor with a more specialized OBGYN in Sioux Falls at the Sanford Hospital there. Then I just quit my regular doctor.
Okay.
And that was good.
This doctor a recommendation from her?
Yes,
Okay.
yep. She recommended this certain doctor she wanted me to see. I loved her. They did suggest the T we did to make sure everything was fine genetically, that kind of thing. So we did that test early on.
Did you find out the sex with that test?
Yes, yes, we did.
Oh, tell us about finding out.
Yes, actually, I sent the results to my sister because she was going to do a big thing for us. So she was going to make cupcakes and my kids were going to do the reveal that way. She knew before anyone. We went to her house and she made cupcakes and my 3 kids all bit into a cupcake and one of them had the cupcake with the gender in the middle. She had green frosting for the boys. Yeah. Telling my kids was another thing. I think I was 10 weeks along when I decided to let my children know. That was definitely very difficult. My 2 youngest, my 11-year-old boy, and then my daughter at the time was 14, my middle daughter, she and my son were excited, just shocked, excited. But my oldest, who was graduating, it was her senior year, she was definitely not excited, not happy. That was hard.
Yeah.
Very hard. Yeah. She was not, she just couldn't understand how we could let that happen and why. I think there was a whole different side of it for her. I think she worried about missing out when she goes to college and not having a relationship because she wouldn't be living here with the baby. And I think that kind of hit her hard, just thinking about all those things. So it took her a while to get used to the fact that we were expecting.
Yeah.
Of course, she wanted it to be a girl. So, so then when we found out we had a boy, she was like, oh, now I wanted a girl. But I was actually very excited it was a boy. So I was wishing for a boy once I found out, just because I have 2 teenage girls and they're hard. And my son is not that hard yet. So, so I'm like, I could do another boy if I have to.
Yeah.
And I feel
Okay.
boys have less things. We didn't have to, we didn't have anything. We didn't have anything left over.
Yeah. How did you prepare for this one? Because I'm assuming you got rid of everything.
Yep. Yep. We did. I did a lot of shopping on Facebook Marketplace for things because I didn't want to have to go buy new of everything. We don't have an extra bedroom in our house either for him. And I didn't want to kick anyone out of their room. And especially my oldest that was going to college. I didn't want her to feel like she didn't have a place to come back to. So we just put him in our bedroom in a pack and play when he first came home, and then turned my workout space into his little nursery now. So we found a place for him in our house. But yeah, it was a lot of trying to find sales and trying to find things that were gently used because I just didn't want to go out and buy new of everything.
Yeah, I guess. What
Yeah.
about products wise? Was there anything that helped you through your pregnancy?
Towards the end, I took some stuff for sleeping, just Unisom that she said I could take, but otherwise I just took a prenatal vitamin. I felt very good through the whole pregnancy. I really do feel blessed that way because I was able to stay pretty active and not have too many symptoms until the very end when I had some preeclampsia towards the end of
Mm,
my pregnancy. I felt very good. I was very hopeful this time. I struggled breastfeeding with all three of my children. I tried with all of them and just never could get enough milk. And so I was so determined this time. Now that I'm not working and I'm stay at home, I can breastfeed this time. Maybe I won't be as stressed and maybe I'll have more time and it will come easier. That's the one thing that still bothers me.
because you didn't
I
have the supply?
didn't have the supply and I tried every trick under the sun and just I would get this much milk and he eventually needed more. So I did for I think for a full month I pumped and gave him what I could as a supplement.
Yeah.
So he did get the colostrum at the beginning and some of the first breast milk, but
What was your plan with birth going into it?
we knew that we would have to be delivering in Sioux Falls, which was new to us because we just have always delivered in Watertown, which is a smaller town closer to us. None of my labors with my other kids had been like too quick where I couldn't, where I barely made it or anything like that. I wasn't too worried about getting there. It is an hour and a half away. But once I got to about 36 weeks, I started having some symptoms, bad headaches, just not feeling good, not feeling very, just feeling like something was off. And so the doctor was keeping a close eye on everything. And then my blood pressure started to get pretty high. So we kept an eye on that for a week, checked my protein levels, my urine, and that kind of thing to make sure that I wasn't getting preeclampsia. But then the day before 38 weeks, I went into my regular appointment. And when they checked my blood pressure there, it was high. It was like 150 over 90 or something. And she's with your age and how you've been feeling, you're 38 weeks now. Let's just be done. I think I was dilated to a 2 already. And so she's, let's just get you in and get him delivered. Just don't like what your blood pressure is doing and how you've been feeling.
Is she talking about a C-section or an induction?
No, just an induction.
Okay.
Yep. I've always just been able to deliver vaginally. So
Okay.
I was very grateful that hopefully that was going to be the case this time again. We went home, grabbed our bags, and went back the next morning at 7 o'clock and got induced. Labor was it was definitely the hardest delivery of all of my kids, I think. My very firstborn, my daughter, she was a pretty difficult delivery too, but this one he was sunny side up and I just could not, it was very rough trying to get him out. And I think at 9:30, they gave me Cytotec
Okay.
and I just walked. I didn't want to sit still. I wanted to walk and let things happen. And I wanted to allow myself to feel the contractions and that kind of thing. I think at 1:30, the doctor came in and I was in between a 4 and a 5 and she broke my water. And then I labored all afternoon. And then once it was like o'clock-ish, the contractions were starting to get pretty bad. And so I asked for an epidural. I got an epidural then. And then at 7 o'clock, right at shift change, of course, my contractions were like, I really started to feel like something's happening here. I could feel it in my back and stuff. And I knew baby was about ready. I came in and they're like, oh yeah, you're ready. And so we started to push, and then they found out that he was sunny side up. So I was just really having trouble getting him to come down and to push him out. So I pushed for, I think, about an hour and 45 minutes before the doctor finally came in and helped a little bit. They were moving me back and forth and getting me into all these different positions. And oh, it was very painful, but
Yeah, because you have an epidural, so there was not a lot
yeah,
you could really do.
no. And I felt like, I don't know, it was such an out of body experience because my epidural was good and I wasn't feeling too much pain per se, but I was feeling a lot of pressure. And I didn't feel like I was doing a good enough job. And oh, it was such a crazy experience. And I have to laugh because I don't know if it's just South Dakota or what, but there's nurses coming in and out. This one nurse came in and she was an older gal, and I think her name was Carol, and God bless her. She came in and she's, what's going on in here? She's, roll her over this way. And she came and helped me get rolled over. And she really helped to get things kind of going, I think, better. So God bless Carol for
Like, what
coming in.
position did she put you in that
She put
helped?
me on my side,
Okay.
way on my side. I was almost on, like, I felt like I was on my stomach almost. And then I had my one leg up. And then she was helping me. They had given me a towel to use to pull back on my leg while I pushed. And that really seemed to help him kind of
Mhm.
move down a little bit more, so that then when they rolled me back over, the doctor came in, she could get a hold of him good enough, I think, and help pull him out. Because he was, I suppose his little nose was caught, or however that is when they're coming with their face up. So anyway, he looked rough when he came out, but everything was fine.
So they put him on your chest?
Yep, put him on my chest right away.
Yeah.
And I just, it's just a feeling like no other, no matter if you planned for it or not. Just an experience like no other. Your baby there, and everything was fine. I was just so grateful that he was here and he was fine. And I knew everything would be okay after that.
Yeah, because you came full
Yeah.
circle with this of not really accepting him, and then here he is
Yeah.
on your chest.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's definitely a whirlwind. And then just the emotions that he was born 2 weeks to before my daughter's graduation day. So that was a whole bag of emotions in itself. I've got one leaving, graduating. There's all those feelings of your firstborn graduating, and then bringing this new baby in, and then all of the gamut of emotions that you feel just anyways postpartum, all the irrational thoughts that go through your head when you're
Yeah.
postpartum. And it was a rough couple of weeks, I tell you, but it was good.
What was your recovery like?
Honestly, my recovery was very good. I did not have a lot of pain. I did not have a lot of bleeding. I had just nothing crazy with that. I honestly felt pretty good other than tired. I will say that the level of exhaustion I felt during my pregnancy and after was just something I cannot even describe. It was just this level of tired. And I even look back at pictures of myself, even our photo shoot we did with Laker after he was born, the newborn photos. I just look so tired. I'm like, oh, I wish I could go back and redo those pictures because the bags under my eyes are so big. But I was just very tired. And that would be the thing I would say was the hardest for me, was just the exhaustion and trying
Mhm.
to, you know, when you're so tired and you are trying to live in these moments and remember everything, but then you're so tired
Yeah.
that your brain isn't fully functioning, you feel like when you just, I'm wanting to take in every moment of the graduation and getting ready for that, and every moment of my new baby and getting everything settled with him. And I'm just so tired. I don't know that I remember any of it. Thank goodness we took a lot of pictures and I wrote a lot of stuff down because I don't know, it just all seems like it was a whirlwind.
Yeah, a blur. Yeah.
Yeah. And thank goodness for my sisters. They were so helpful at the
What about mentally? How were you?
um again, I don't want to cry, but it was hard. And it still is hard.
Yeah.
I would say to you that I am still struggling
Yeah.
mentally with a lot of things. I have a lot of thoughts in my head that I don't speak of a lot, but scary thing at this age to have this little person that, and I feel like I just have this thought in my head because I lost my parents both when my parents weren't, neither of them are very old when they passed away, and they didn't get to enjoy their grandkids for very long. And so then I have those thoughts in my head. Will I be at Laker's wedding? Will I see his kids grow up? Will I So it's just those irrational feelings that you have in your head that I never thought of when I with my other children, with my kids I had when I was younger. But
Mhm.
now I'm thinking of those things. And my way to deal with it is humor. I try to joke about it. I always joke with my oldest daughter, Ellie. I always tell her, "Oh, you'll probably be raising him because I'll be in the nursing home." I say things like that just because that's how I deal with stress is I try to be funny and I'm not, but it's there's a lot of thoughts that I think of daily.
Is there anything that helps you cope with that?
I would say my husband, he's very even keel. He doesn't get too excited about anything, and he's very good to talk me out of these thoughts that I have. We're going to be fine, and no matter what happens, he's going to be fine, and our kids will be fine. He's not one to worry or, as my sister says, borrow trouble like I like to do. So I think he helps me a lot, keeps me grounded, keeps me like, no, let's just live in the now and stop worrying about the what ifs and enjoy right now.
Is there anything else you want to mention about your pregnancy or birth?
Um, I just think it's important and it's not embarrassing. I wish I wouldn't have spent so much time in those feelings. I feel like I spent a lot of my pregnancy feeling that way, and I didn't really take the time to enjoy the pregnancy. Like my friends offered to do a shower, and my sisters offered to do a shower, and I didn't feel I deserved any of that because I'd already had that with my other kids. And I was like, why would I do? I just feel like I missed out on some of that stuff to welcome new baby and things like that just because of that shame or embarrassment. I just felt like it wasn't deserving of that or something. And now I look back and I'm like, I wish I would have taken more time to do those things and to celebrate those things and live more in the moment instead of living in my feelings that I was feeling.
Now, you found the
So,
podcast whenever you were pregnant.
yes,
Did that help with these
yes,
thoughts?
yes, it did. It helped so much. I'm in my car a lot, driving to practices and games, but we do a lot of sports and ball games and things. And every time I was in my car, I had your podcast on with all the different stories, and it was just so wonderful hearing all of the women and their stories. I have always been interested in all of those things anyways, just fertility. When the baby story used to be on TLC, I don't know if you ever watched that, but there used to be this thing
Oh,
called the
yeah.
baby story on TLC. I was like obsessed with that show. I just always loved babies and loved hearing the stories. So I think that just listening to the podcast and hearing of women my age and what they went through, how their labors were. I was very worried about my labor. I didn't know what my body remember what to do. Would I have to have a C-section this time? I was very nervous about that. I knew that my Sioux Falls doctor, she always told me, you're healthier than a lot of the 22-year-olds that come in here. She was always very reassuring to me and my health. And I knew that I'm an active, healthy person. So I didn't really expect to have any problems, but I think it was just nice to listen to all the podcasts and hear about all the stories and different labors and situations and things that could happen and the feelings that those ladies were having. And also to just maybe turn my guilty feeling and my feelings that I was having of just unworthiness into worthiness. Yes, you are deserving of this baby, and you can have a baby at
Yeah.
43 and you're going to be just fine and everything's going to be great. And this is going to keep you young. And
Yeah.
you're gonna be a good mom, and you are a good mom, and everything's going to be fine. So
Yeah.
yeah, it really did help. I was very grateful.
Good. I really had to work on that too. When I was trying to conceive, I felt undeserving. And I was like,
Mhm.
that's why I'm not pregnant. So I get that on a different level for sure. Yeah.
Yes. And then that's the other thing too, is you have that like, why are other people struggling and I'm given this gift? There's got to be a reason. God must have a plan for me and Laker. So
Yeah.
we're going to roll with it here.
Yeah.
We're doing good.
Do you
Yeah.
have plans to have more kids in your 40s?
No, I do not. We've joked about it or talked about it because you think he's going to be a loner now when the other ones grow up and he'll be by himself. But like I said, my nephew and his wife had their little girl 3 days after Laker. Yeah, I think she was born 3 days after Laker. So they're very close in age. And then my niece had a baby in October. So Laker will have his cousins there to play with and to grow up with. So I'm very grateful that God had that planned out and he will have some tight knit relationships there to build on.
That's great. Did you put another IUD in or what's your
No,
plan?
I did get my tubes removed actually right
Okay.
away. June 30th, we did that right after I had in my second, and June 30th, we went in and she just removed my tubes.
Oh, is it a surgery where she?
Yes. Yep. They
Oh,
just did
okay.
a laparoscopy. She
Okay.
gave me the option to do it when I delivered, but she said that I could have done it during that hospital stay. But
Mhm.
it's harder for them, she said, when your uterus is swollen and stuff, it's harder for them to find the tubes and it makes it a little bit more difficult and you have a little bigger incision. So she said if I could wait, that I should wait. And so we did. We waited till the end of June and I went in and got that done. So yeah. So
Okay.
no more surprises for us. But yeah, we're grateful that he's here and that he's healthy and everything went fine. And we got my daughter off and graduated and she loves him so much. It's
Good.
ridiculous. So
Good.
the fear I had of her not being happy at first definitely went away. She melted the minute she saw him in the
Oh,
in the hospital room. So
yeah, teenagers, have a
yeah.
way with coming around to things.
Yes. Yeah, I knew the first time she held him, I was like, oh, she's going to be fine. It's going to be okay. And I've
Okay.
got lots of helpers around here, so that's good.
Oh, that is one great advantage.
Yep, it is. My daughters are great help. My son's great help. When he walks in the door from school, first thing is wants to come see the baby. And so it's been wonderful. And my sisters are wonderful help for me and my mother-in-law. So yeah, we're doing just fine.
You mentioned fatigue was a challenge for you. Is there
Mhm.
anything else that was a big challenge for you being pregnant over 40?
I would say just the fatigue and the emotions and the thoughts
Uh-huh.
were the mental part of it was probably the most difficult for me, I would say.
Yeah.
That was the hardest for me to navigate. And I still have days where I let myself get into these thoughts of the what ifs and the things that could happen. I just worry about stuff that I don't need to be
Mhm.
worrying about. And I don't know why that is, but
That's easy to do.
yep. The only other thing I could say is Laker has definitely been our most challenging baby as
Oh,
far as sleep and just he had colic, fussy, couldn't figure out his tummy. He just had lots of issues with his eating and that kind of stuff. So, and we didn't have any trouble with our other three. So that was very difficult to navigate when you're trying to maintain all the other schedules of all the other kids and get them where they need to be and games here and games there. And then we've got no sleep because her baby was crying all night. That was difficult. We're finally, I think, getting over the hump here. He is definitely getting better as far as his fussiness and stuff like that. So that's helping get that back in track. So we're not so tired, and he's still waking up a couple times a night, but we take turns. My husband's very good help, so I'm
Good.
grateful.
That makes a big difference.
Yeah, yep, yep.
Is there anything you'd recommend that would help prepare someone for pregnancy and birth over 40?
Um, I would say to stay active. I am very grateful that I stayed pretty active, that I kept walking and working out as much as I could. I think that really helped my recovery. I think that's probably one of the main reasons I did feel so good right afterwards and didn't take me so long to recover. Just give yourself grace and let yourself feel your feelings and take the time you need for you and get yourself some really good friends. I have great friends and a great support group, great friends and family, and they all were just so kind and supportive through all of it.
Right.
Yeah.
What advice would you give yourself when you were pregnant if you could go back?
If I could go back right now, I would definitely tell myself to enjoy it more and to say that I am deserving of this baby and I am worthy to be celebrated. And it's fine that I am having a baby at 43. It's
Yeah.
fine. My husband and I love each other and it's okay that we had a baby at 43. I should be happy and excited about it. And I just wish I would have taken more time to feel happy and excited
Mm.
about it. Because now I can't imagine my life any differently.
Now, we have a lot of listeners who are trying to conceive over. What do you have to say to those women?
I'll just my prayers and my heart goes out to them, and I will definitely be praying for each and every one of them because becoming a mom and being a mom is the greatest joy that there is, best job in the world. And so I will just keep them all in my prayers and to keep trying and keep trying.
And where can our listeners connect with you?
On Instagram, I'm Jumpin' Jeani on Instagram. My
I love that.
Instagram. My husband also calls me Jumpin', so I don't know where that came from, but and then just Jeani Vincent on Facebook. So Instagram and Facebook.
Awesome. Jeannie, you came to me and said that you had a boring story, and that is not true. I
No.
really enjoyed it. Thank you so much for coming on the show and sharing your story.
Yep, you bet. Thanks for having me.